The first human bathroom was probably just a walk into the bushes, and for thousands of years, that worked. Then, humans made one enormous mistake. They stopped moving, they built villages, they stayed in one place, and suddenly, human waste had nowhere left to go. Today, when nature calls, we close a door. We have toilets, running water, sewers, toilet paper, and most importantly, privacy. Ancient humans had none of that. So what did they actually do before toilets existed? The simplest answer is exactly what you are imagining. They went outside. For small groups that moved from place to place, this was not a major engineering problem. A person could walk away from the camp, find a private spot, do what they needed to do, and return. The group might move days or weeks later. Rain, insects, animals, and time would slowly break down what was left behind. There was no toilet to clean, no sewage pipe to repair, no waste tank filling up. There was only distance, and for a small, moving group, distance was often enough. But choosing a place was not completely random. Going too close to the camp could create smell, insects, and contamination. Going too close to drinking water could be dangerous. Going too far away could also be risky. A person alone might encounter predators. They could become lost. They could fall in darkness, and during cold weather, storms, or the night, even a short walk away from shelter could be unpleasant or dangerous. Ancient humans did not have a single universal bathroom rule. Different groups lived in forests, caves, deserts, grasslands, mountains, and frozen landscapes. What they did depended on where they lived, what materials were available, and how often they moved. Some people may have used specific areas away from the main camp. Others may have buried waste. Some waste may have been placed with other rubbish. And sometimes, people probably did not move nearly as far away as we would like to imagine. Archaeologists have found preserved human waste in caves, garbage deposits, and ancient living areas. That means the prehistoric world was not always clean, organized, or pleasant. Sometimes human waste remained surprisingly close to where people ate, slept, and prepared food. But what about toilet paper? The honest answer is that we do not know exactly what most prehistoric people used. Soft materials usually disappear long before archaeologists can find them. But humans probably used whatever the environment provided: leaves, grass, moss, water, smooth stones, pieces of bark, animal material, and in cold places, possibly snow. There was no single ancient version of toilet paper. The forest gave one answer. The desert gave another. The frozen north gave a very uncomfortable answer. For small groups, this system could continue for a long time. Walk away. Use the land. Keep moving. But then, human life began to change. People started staying in the same places for longer. They built permanent shelters. They stored food. They raised animals. They created villages. And that created a completely new problem. One person produces waste every day. So do 10 people. So do 100. Add animal waste, food scraps, bones, ash, dirty water, rotting plants, and suddenly, the ground around a settlement begins to change. The smell grows stronger, flies arrive, parasites spread, rain carries contamination through the soil, and waste can enter the same water people use for drinking and cooking. The toilet was not invented because humans wanted comfort. It was invented because human waste had nowhere left to go. In a moving camp, people could leave the problem behind. In a permanent village, the problem stayed, and it grew every day. This was especially dangerous because waste is not only unpleasant, it can carry disease. Human feces can contain parasites and microscopic organisms capable of contaminating food and water. Ancient people did not understand bacteria or parasite life cycles, but they could notice patterns. People became sick near dirty water. Certain areas smelled worse. Flies gathered around waste. Some places became difficult to live in. The first sanitation rules may not have come from science. They may have come from experience. Do not leave waste here. Do not drink from that water. Keep this area away from food. Move the rubbish outside the settlement. Ancient communities slowly began separating where people lived from where they discarded waste. Some created specific dumping areas. Some used pits. Some placed waste in containers. Some settlements developed simple drains to move dirty water away. These were not modern bathrooms, but they were the beginning of a major human idea. Waste needs its own place, and that idea changed everything. The first toilet was not really about privacy. It was about keeping yesterday's waste away from today's food. As villages became towns and towns became cities, the problem became impossible to ignore. Thousands of people could not simply walk into the nearest bushes. There might not be any bushes left. Houses stood close together. Streets became crowded. Water sources served entire neighborhoods. Human waste had to be collected, moved, drained, or stored somehow. Some early civilizations built surprisingly advanced systems. Homes in ancient cities could have special areas for washing and waste. Large pots or pits may have worked as early toilets. Drains carried liquid away from buildings. Channels moved dirty water through streets. The goal was simple: get the waste away from the people. But even those systems were far from perfect. A city could have drains and still have parasites. A community could build latrines and still contaminate its water. Waste might be moved out of one house, only to become someone else's problem farther down the street. And in many places, only certain people had access to better sanitation. Wealthy homes could have private facilities. Others used shared spaces, containers, outdoor pits, or whatever was available. The history of toilets was not a straight line from dirty to clean. It was a long series of experiments. Some worked, some failed. Some looked advanced but still spread disease, and some solutions were probably abandoned because they smelled terrible, overflowed, or required too much work. There was also the problem of privacy. Today, using the bathroom is usually private, but that idea has not always existed in the same way. In many ancient communities, people lived closely together. Families shared small shelters. Public or shared latrines appeared in later societies. Privacy depended on culture, location, social status, and the type of settlement. For an ancient hunter far from camp, privacy might mean finding a tree. For someone inside a crowded settlement, privacy might be a luxury. But there was one advantage ancient humans had that we often forget. Their waste could also provide information. Today, archaeologists study preserved human feces called coprolites. These ancient remains can reveal what people ate: seeds, bones, plants, parasites, sometimes even clues about disease and migration. Something an ancient person desperately wanted to leave behind can become thousands of years later one of archaeology's most useful discoveries. A preserved piece of human waste can tell us more about daily life than a weapon or monument. It can show what ordinary people ate, what infected them, where they traveled, and how healthy they really were. So what did ancient humans do before toilets? First, many probably walked away from camp and used the landscape. As groups became larger and more permanent, they began creating waste areas, pits, containers, drains, and eventually latrines. Not because someone dreamed of a comfortable bathroom, but because living together made sanitation necessary. The real story of the toilet is not about luxury. It is about population. When humans moved, they could leave waste behind. When humans settled down, The waste stayed with them, and that forced people to solve a problem every civilization still faces today. How do thousands of humans live close, together, without being poisoned by what they leave behind? The answer took thousands of years, and it began with a very simple realization. Sometimes walking into the bushes is no longer enough. Subscribe for more true stories drawn in simple lines.